Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WWE NXT. It's episode number 4, and it's July 11th, 2012. And this is also just in preparation for the Money in the Bank 2012 pay-per-view, which I see it's mentioned briefly in the show, teasing it, and Piggy's like, we could just watch the Money in the Bank matches. And unfortunately, I'm a little sucker because I've got the nostalgia for this time period. So I'm like, if I find it, I'm gonna watch it. And then I find it in about 2 minutes. For fuck's sake! Like, why am I like this? And even if I
See, the
watch it,
problem is,
I'm gonna get sick of it. I'm gonna get sick of it. Like 1 hour in, I'm gonna be like, this show was fucking shit. Like, it was a fine show, but yeah.
see, the problem is, you probably might actually enjoy it. Like, if we do continue doing this, like, podcast, like, for the next year of one more match of NXT, what I will suggest is watching SummerSlam 2013, because I do want to see Bray Wyatt's debut, and I love that pay-per-view. Even if there's a weird Alberto Del Rio match against Christian, that's just, yeah. But I suggested just watching the Money in the Bank matches, but the problem is, we're probably still going to be a bit nostalgia baited because we obviously grew up with this time period. So we look at 2007 WWE and it's like, why the fuck is Finlay fighting fucking Batista for the world title? And then you look at 2012 and it's like, guess who's fighting? Sheamus for the world title. Arriba, arriba! It's Alberto Del Big, your wife. Let's go.
Allegedly.
Like,
Oh, wait, no, there's actual criminal convictions, to be fair.
yeah, it's not allegedly, mate. He fucking did. And then he's like, why don't I get... And my favorite bit about Alberto is just like, why does no one want me? And it's like, you're a piece of shit.
Well, I say that.
At least Teddy Hart
even
was
in a
cool
sense,
about it.
he was banging out in AAA, and he was like the main guy.
Yeah, no.
Obviously,
Yeah,
he's
no,
not been kept over, but...
No. Well, no. We say he's not being kept over, but obviously since they're a MAGA corporation, they're like, hey, Alberto, just put the MAGA hat on, you'll be fine. Be fine. Nothing happened. That's how they do. But yeah, this is NXT. One of my boys are in the main event, which is the primetime players.
Well, hey, apparently he has re-signed with AAA, but he hasn't showed up. So, who knows? Who knows? He's on that Carlito deal. He's on that Carlito deal.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining, like how they're doing the El Grande Americanos?
Yeah.
They stick him in the mask, and it's like, they won't know that's Alberto. I need to see the back tattoos, and you're like, that's Alberto. That's fucking Alberto. He starts doing the cross arm breaker and starts slapping his chest. That's definitely Alberto.
But yeah, this is the July 11th edition of 2012 NXT, and as we mentioned, maybe there's probably a chance we do a review of Money in the Bank, just because, like I said, we got these like, if you can't tell, obviously, I fucking love early NXT, and I feel like it has come through on these shows, because these shows aren't 5 minutes long, but it's just, there's something really enjoyable about them for me personally, and I feel like that maybe that, like, rose tinted glasses will extend the actual pay-per-views, but maybe it's just if we watch one, if it's good, we continue. If we don't, fuck off, we're not doing it. But I don't know.
But we will do certain pay-per-views as well. I'll make the exception. Because like there might be.
Plus,
if we enjoy Money in the Bank,
to be fair, there also aren't that many takeovers, so the takeovers are quite infrequent. So it's not like we're watching tons of pay-per-views, unlike when we're doing ECW.
Yeah, and I will say NXT is a separate entity to it. But if you are only watching the pay-per-views, if we do like Money in the Bank 2012 and we do watch it, we might do the big four WWE pay-per-views, and occasionally, if the match card is good, we will like sneak in like an elimination chamber. But my pitch is to do the big. Obviously, there's takeovers, but to do the big four and obviously the takeovers. So the big four being WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor, maybe not Survivor Series, because around this time period it's fairly shit. It's Survivor Series, but Royal Rumble as well, because they're the four big ones and they're generally good at this time. Elimination Chamber would be the only other one.
Even a part of me is kind of like tempted to do like Raw 1000 just to kind of remember, but also it is a 3-hour Raw, and I struggle to get through 40 minutes of NXT, so. Probably not.
I don't mind. That can be a bonus one.
Yeah.
at some point. Probably not in this recording session,
No.
but yeah, we are very nostalgic to this time period. So if we're so like again, we might shift on 2007 ECW, but then again, we're the same people who will fucking love the primetime players, and then people will get mad at us. Why don't we love Chavo Guerrero and fucking Little Boogeyman? And it's like I
I
don't care
mean,
for them.
the entire point that kind of like obviously nobody takes us seriously as wrestling like critics,
No,
fundamentally,
I wouldn't want them to.
because we actually enjoyed December to Dismember. And I was so vocal about loving that show, even though it is garbage. But
Oh no, it is garbage.
I was proud of it because it actually was ECW and not like trying to be WWE. But it was still
But
objectively ass. But I still loved it.
no,
So
no, no,
thankfully
no.
nobody takes us seriously as critics.
I will say though, like on that, I do like ECW, like at the pay per view December to December. The problem with it is it's not an ECW pay per view if you're an old school fan, because you're obviously expecting a lot of hardcore matches, but then you realize like WWE's producing this, it's going to be shit. Kind of like if you watch AAA now and you're like, oh my god, it's going to have all these AAA stars. Why is it a four-side ring? And why the fuck's Dominic here? It's that kind of thing, but also the problem with this era of like '07 WWE. I know we're in 2012 doing it now, but in '07 you also have the lack of real like interest compared to 2012. I will still do ECW at some point, but I don't know when I will release the block of ECW episodes because the NXT one is going to be the next arc. So technically, I'm telling you most of the stuff that we didn't enjoy, but you will get to see it at some point. Um, and yeah, so probably NXT will be next, and then maybe a break, and then ECW, then back to NXT. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's just the nature of the beast. We needed a fucking break. I was like in the last recording session of ECW, I got so sick of it. Like I was fucking I don't know, something in me broke, and I just went, I don't want to watch anymore. Please, can we watch something else now, please? I need to watch something good, because like at the start of doing an ECW, and obviously we'll talk about NXT soon, but at the start of ECW, I was really into it because well, it wasn't necessarily a diamond in the rough, but it was exciting for what it was, and I liked some of the stuff they were doing, and I wanted to see that direction continue, but they always zag when they're supposed to zig, and that just makes it insufferable because, at the start you go, oh, maybe this will go somewhere interesting. It doesn't. Oh, maybe this will go somewhere interesting. No, it doesn't. Oh, the new breed versus the originals. This was the big title feud. It goes on 2 months. It feels like 4 years. Oh, fucking hell. It's such a shame. But at least with NXT, it's something I have that time investment in initially. I loved this shit when it came out, and I will always have a soft spot for developmental wrestling. And to be fair, we have watched like a solid year of WWE ECW, which I think is more than anybody else has ever done. Because you have to have a
or
depth wish.
because if people don't know, because like I said, I'm releasing these before the ECW like arc. Because when we get back to ECW, I want to get past the giant roadblock that you should know. But because we're not up there yet in the actual like filming process, but when we get to it, I will release them when we get to that giant roadblock. But yeah, NXT is a lot different and it's a lot nicer. But when you watch those ECW videos, you will fucking see us slowly break, and every video is like 10 minutes because it's like I don't care, man, because it just becomes shit. But we will power through it because the relaunch happened. Well, the reboot of ECW does happen around the roadblock. Obviously, I don't really want to talk about the roadblock because we've talked about it enough on the ECW one. So yeah, when that roadblock happens, that's when I'll be uploading all of them, so you can follow us through, and we will slowly help you get through that roadblock. But yeah, there you go. There's just that.
Yeah, it's one of those things
Roadblock
where
begins
at
with a
some
B and ends
point
with a
you
T.
just need to. At some point, you just need to remind yourself that you actually do like wrestling, and watching ECW
Yeah.
is not good for the psyche.
See, the problem is we're going to be so excited when Yoshi Tatsu fucking comes out with his happy chappy theme. Like, is that all right to say? Like,
This is Takeshi's
I
Castle
don't.
reference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a Takeshi's Castle reference, but he's fucking hyper J-pop theme,
Oh
which
yeah,
I've
the
saved on
theme's an
Spotify, and
absolute
then
banger.
I listen to it on Spotify, and I start waving my arms like yeah, Yoshi, come on, we
But yeah,
Yoshi.
so I think with all that said, though, that's the general state of play. I know people don't actually give a shit about this channel or what we watch, so we are, and it's not like even if they did, we're not listening to anyone. We just do what we want, anyways. Just how it is. This channel is just a little wank session for ourselves, apparently. But it's an excuse to watch wrestling, and this is episode 4 of WWE NXT. Now, admittedly, does have a little bit of a weird starter for me because yes, we have seen a feud with Tyson Kidd and Michael McGillicuddy and Hunico and Camacho. So unfortunately, the first 14 minutes of NXT is a singles match between Tyson Kidd and Camacho. Now, once again, the name doesn't matter. It's Tongaloa. Ooh.
See, I know you might disagree with me on this, but Michael McGillicuddy could generally carry this match with Tyson Kidd. Like, well, Tyson Kidd would obviously carry it, but they could generally go 14 minutes. Fucking Tangaloa cannot go 40 minutes. He can't even go 4 minutes in the bedroom. Like, well, like I don't mean to be mean, but like I generally don't understand like the like I again he is one of my favorites because of how shit he is. Like I'm not doing a bit here. He's genuinely shit. I don't really like criticizing wrestlers' like ability to wrestle because that's not my opinion. I can't. I will take the piss out of them if they are bad. But I can't generally say like if they're horrendous. But fuck me, he is genuinely one of the worst wrestlers I have ever saw. And I've shielded myself from a lot of bad wrestling. Famously that TNA match. I got -5 stars just to do that. But yeah, I shield myself from a lot of bad wrestling. But whenever I see Camacho slash Tangaloa, I'm like, how the like I know the answer is obvious. He's in the fucking bloodline family. Like he's a Samoan. But you look at that, and you're like, how the fuck did you like how are you Haku's kid, but you have none of Haku's abilities? How the fuck is Tala Tonga, the fucking 7 foot bloke? How has he got more motor ability than fucking you, Tangaloa? And he probably has 2 gammy fucking knees. That's my question. How the fucking the tall one do better than you?
But
Obviously, he's
yeah,
not here yet, but still.
it's the. I mean, I don't disagree. I called Samatonga shit. I think he is garbage. No, Tongaloa. Tamatonga's great, but Tongaloa's fucking shit. And Camacho is also shit. And look, putting him in a 14-minute match was a bit of a stretch. And I really, really like Tyson Kidd, and he does his fucking best. But Camacho's garbage, and I will hear
I mean,
nothing otherwise.
as you said in the last episode, when you have a bad match against the Carter, maybe you have to realize maybe I'm not actually good. Maybe I'm actually shit. But I do have a soft spot for him in a way, but I generally do go, he is shit. I don't recommend people watch his matches, but will I have a grin watching his matches? Yes, because it is so funny to watch. But the problem is I was distracted in this match because I was talking about moral oral, which I know is very hard for people who don't understand, but it was the stop motion show of Oral that aired on Adult Swim. I was talking to Ash about it. So I was just more distracted by that, reading the synopsis to him, because Ash was like, what the fuck's all these ores for? What the fuck's that pig?
Oral.
And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so look, it was okay. It was perfectly fine, but ultimately Camacho is pretty garbage. He wins with the most complicated move in wrestling, a standard DDT. So that shows you how much faith they have in Camacho. He's not been lovingly gifted Jake the Snake's iconic finish. It is just the only move he can do that looks remotely convincing. And
Mate, have
Camacho
you
only
ever
wins because Michael McGillicuddy interferes, dressed like the British Bulldog, in jeans, and cost Tyson Kidd the match. So continuing that feud.
Mate, have you ever seen? You've probably seen the clip, but do you remember the clip of where Jake the Snake Roberts comes out on Dean Ambrose or John Moxley slash Dean Ambrose, and like they beat him up, and then he puts the snake on it. Have you ever seen like just zoomed in, and then you just see Dean Ambrose giggling to himself because
Oh,
the snake's been put on
he's
him.
like a giddy fucking kid. Like he's starstruck.
Yeah, But yeah, I just remember that's one of my favorite memories from childhood with the Shield. It's just him getting the snake on him, and he's like, yeah,
It's
please
also
put it
just
on me,
Jake the
Papa.
Snake's fucking theme. Oh, it's tremendous. Fuck, I love
Oh,
Jake the Snake, man. He's so good. He's so.
oh,
I'm so
he's.
glad that his life has worked out.
I am so glad he is still alive to this day, and I will forever cherish like the fact that he did get help and he did get better. But it's just a shame that like we kind of do laugh at Jake the Snake for what he did, but at the same time, it's like he did have a lot of problems like Scott Hall. So it's just most of it's not really his. Well, it is his fault, but alcohol is a bitch. So, but we will always respect Jake the Snake. But will we complain if we have to watch a 2007 Jake the Snake match? Yes, because 2007 Jake's probably not as good as 1987 Jake. So.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I also think apparently it's a bit trivia that may or may not be true, but apparently his Wikipedia says that he hates snakes, which is funny. He's
I mean,
terrified of
have
snakes.
you heard the horror stories about
No,
Jake the Snake with snakes? Where fucking he just put the snakes in the bathtub and then they might die. And he was on the road.
Christ.
He was trying to get pussy. He was just trying to get pussy. And fucking this, the stories they said he might have beaten the snakes, but I don't know if that's true. But yeah, he didn't really like the snakes. Obviously, there's a side note, just one last story. My favourite story is obviously the Macho Man story about when he was going to get the snake bite. And obviously,
Yeah.
Macho Man was apparently paranoid that the snake was actually venomous. And he was like, Jake, put that fucking snake on you. Get that snake to bite you. Come on, get that snake to fucking bite you so it's not venomous. And then Jake tells the story of when he got in the ring with Macho Man. Since Macho Man forced him to like get the snake to bite Jake himself, like he forced Jake to get the snake to bite him. Jake apparently says when he got in the ring with him, he fucking put the snake up to Macho Man, started slapping it, so he actually bite harder to piss him off. It's a fantastic story. I do recommend it, but the horror stories of Macho Man is fucking great.
I mean, Macho Man being paranoid? Nah, never.
Never.
But yeah. Anyways, from one kind of southern talking guy to another, we do finally get the debut of Bray Wyatt, and obviously last episode we basically just talked about the fucking great tragedy that was his career, but even despite becoming something, he ascended to a level that I don't think anybody ever expected him to get to, and that to me is fantastic. But obviously we replay the promo, and I still will always, I'll be very sad when we don't get these promos anymore, because every time the theme hits on Bray Wyatt's promos, I get chills immediately. I'm fucking locked fully in. It's just fantastic. And I think it's the same promo about not being scared, and just the fucking preacher bollocks essentially. But it's all good. He nails it all really well. And he is facing Aiden English in a squash match, and we get a lot of the early spots. He does the splash in the corner, grabs Aiden English's like kind of limp arms, does a little dance, and then spins him into the Sister Abigail. Fucking fantastic. And he's just got a really good like physical kind of presence and physical charisma. And out of all the wrestlers we've seen, his work is most character driven, and I feel like that's to me is why he does kind of ascend fairly rapidly through WWE, simply because I think he just understands the character and he understands where to take it, and that to me puts him like leagues above everybody else in NXT at this point in time. Because Seth Rollins, he wrestles really good, but characterization fucking nowhere. Bo Dallas, same thing. Cassius Ohno, same thing. But with Bray, he knows exactly what the fucking character is, and he embodies it, and that to me sets him on a different level. Yeah, sure, his matches aren't particularly interesting, but as I always kind of maintain, he is Jake the Snake, he is Undertaker. The matches are secondary, but the character work is unparalleled right now on NXT.
Yeah, fantastic Bray Wyatt again. We've glorified him a lot. But he's if one match has a Hall of Fame, he is a first ballot like Hall of Famer immediately. Like he is. I never like there's wrestlers where you do hear horror stories about them. No one has a bad word to say about Brody Lee or Bray Wyatt. No one has a bad word. And if they do have a bad word, we'll fucking find them, put them in a fan, and then just make sure they never come back. That's not a threat. Totally not a threat, YouTube. But like Bray Wyatt is phenomenal. Like again, if you have a brilliant character, the wrestling is secondary. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Because you don't need to be a phenomenal wrestler if you have a phenomenal character. But if you're a phenomenal wrestler and you don't have a phenomenal character, then you might fail. That's the problem. Like
I think it's a thing that makes wrestlers elite, in my opinion. It has to be the blending of the two, and it has to kind of I mean, like it's a thing, right? Where I mean, even to like talk about something that probably you've not watched, but there was a, and this sounds really dumb because he's got a dumb name, but there was a Jack the Jobber video discussing like 5-star matches and like the legacy that it gets, and essentially the crux of the video is saying how it's kind of weird how, because wrestling is an art form and 5-star matches are an art, but it's kind of remarking that Dave Meltzer, obviously with the Wrestling Observer, the most notorious kind of both wrestling critic but also wrestling journalist and historian in the same way, and those things don't all kind of synergize with each other, because he's found that in some of the biggest like the biggest example is the Hulk Hogan versus The Rock match at WrestleMania 18.
18.
And
18.
That's the biggest example where it gets about 3 stars. And a lot of what Meltzer's critiques are essentially what happened surrounding it. It is, well, Hogan was clearly trying to not put The Rock over, and that was weird, and maybe he was politicking. So at that point you go, the criticism isn't really about the match, it's more so about what happened behind. And equally in the same way, Meltzer's 5-star matches, because he believes that match quality has gotten so much more over the years. I think in the 2000s that he had about 10 5-star matches, and I can only imagine the amount of more 5-star matches that happened in the 2010s and the 2020s. All of which in New Japan, 90% go to Kenny Omega and Okada. But the point being, it's kind of, I think, essentially suggesting that the bias is right, and everybody has their natural bias. Meltzer loves the fucking work rate matches, and if there's a shitload of flips, and if it's in the Tokyo Dome, probably will get 5-star matches, even if it doesn't necessarily deserve it. But the point being, in my opinion, is you can't just be like a really good wrestler without having a really good character. But I mean, you kind of can in a way. I think the way that wrestling has evolved, being a good wrestler is a part of the character. But it's kind of, I mean, it's why for me, like wrestlers like fucking Johnny Gargano, for example, is always he is always the biggest example of a wrestler who wrestles the ridiculous matches that everybody loves. But you don't love him because he's a really compelling character. You love him because he has the like fucking near fall Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell fucking match every single time he wrestles on a big show. And that to me is where the distinction comes between like fantastic wrestlers and elite wrestlers, where you have to kind of have it all. And obviously the criteria is not always the same, because if Cena's in that category, yes, Cena had a stint of having fantastic matches, but Cena spent more years having shit matches than good. And same goes with like Batista and a lot of these stars where, I don't know, it's a very interesting thing. I think with all that long ass tangent, just talk about a video I liked. I do agree that the character work of Bray, for me, as I said before, it makes him a god among men in a sense, simply because there's a key detail about being a wrestler and being a character that a lot of people didn't really understand. And all the stories you hear about like Bray behind the scenes and about him being like a really kind of smart, intuitive, like student of the game, always trying to like craft and trying to do more, that to me will kind of make him stand out more than having any fucking 5-star match. Like,
I was going to just say on the 5-star match thing, if you're in the Tokyo Dome, it's not 5 stars, it's 10 stars. The Tokyo Dome just has its own. But yeah, no, I will always be annoyed by Dave Meltzer and my friends later when they always say, "Oh yeah, but Krangle didn't have a 5-star match." He fucking did. Like I know you're gonna get mad at him bringing up his name, but the fucking Benoit matches, he fucking had 5-star classics against Benoit, Shawn Michaels, fucking Styles. Maybe not Sting, okay, but there probably is one with Sting. Like he did, and Joe. Don't forget the Joe matches. How the fuck does he not have at least one 5-star match? But fucking Lars Sullivan does. Lars Sullivan, the gay homophobe who fucking was caught doing a gay porno. How can you be homophobic and do a gay porno? You can't be both. Like genuinely,
he
his
can.
ratings is so. He can, but generally, how can you be so shit on your match ratings that you do not give? I don't know. I glorify Angle all the time, but Angle is genuinely a top 5.
He's
at
one of the
least.
best wrestlers
Okay,
of
I
all
know
time.
later day Angle is not. I will accept that. But generally, prime Angle from like when he first debuted in WWE to about 2015 in TNA is a top 5 athlete, and it's also the example because you did say great work rate. You don't need a character if you have great work rate, which is why, again, just to use his name, Benoit did work for years because everyone went, he's a bit shit as a character, but not a wrestler. Same with the difference is Angle, on the other hand, was fantastic character, fantastic wrestler. And yeah, it depends on what you need, but some people can blend being a fantastic wrestler with being a fantastic promoist, and it generally just depends on where you want to stand on the spectrum. Because MGF sums up perfectly because he says people need to start watching old wrestling like the Territories and Memphis and the golden era and get these ideas from these older characters instead of watching what the friends are doing, because if you're watching what your friends are doing, it's just going to be the same cog in the wheel basically.
And also,
And he
it's just
sums it
kind
up
of that like
perfectly.
subconscious bias, right? Where
Yeah.
everybody will have their subconscious bias, but yeah, it's just some of the best stories in wrestling are some of the more kind of complex ones, and not just the most simple. Like obviously the stuff with even like with AEW's kind of rise, you still have Hangman's like anxiety as a story. Which, if
Yeah.
if you told the fucking 80s wrestler, what, he's going to be fucking anxious, what the fuck is that? But it's great. It's great because it's human and it's something that people relate to. And that character work
It's
is fucking key.
it's generally why, and I get a lot of flack for when I do say Hangman is the modern Stone Cold in a sense, for the fact he's a real sort of character where you generally, like the anxious millennial cowboy, is generally one of the best things like that AEW has ever done. The fact that you have I know this is just me glorifying Hangman, but it's the fact of this sort of real character that you can look into, whereas like this could be an everyday person
I
compared to
mean,
fucking
probably
WWE.
maybe
It's like,
Stone Cold's probably not the best example, but do more like
but
a
yeah, yeah.
more like a Dusty kind of deal, really.
Yeah, yeah. No, Eddie Kingston is the modern Dusty Rhodes,
True.
but also he is also the modern Bret Hart for the way he fucking complains about every wrestler he meets. Fuck you, Claudio, you cunt. Fuck you.
But yeah, I
Love you,
think
Eddie. Love
all
you.
that to say, as I've said like 3 times, but basically the character work is what makes Bray kind of fast track his way through WWE, going from Husky Harris a year ago to being Bray Wyatt now. It's a full character shift. You pretty much know exactly what the character is about, and that is the in. It's not just that he had a really cool match because he just squashed Aiden English. So yeah, but a good debut, a really good build up, and I am fucking frothing at the bit to see what comes next for Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Next up, we have. Was there? I think there was a promo with Richie Steamboat where Richie Steamboat essentially says, "I'm so excited to show NXT just how good Richie Steamboat is," and this is interrupted by Leo Kruger, who says, "I'm the King of Africa," which is a fucking fantastic name, by the way. Shame he's a prick, and fantastic name. Ends in a scuffle, and this is obviously setting up their match, I assume, next week. But I'm excited at the prospect of that. I want to see Leo Kruger actually get his chops around something substantial and prove that he is actually a solid. Because, his initial match was good, but it was a squash match, so you didn't really get to see. Yeah, sure, you got to see the finish, you got to see the sling blade, but I want to see him in an actual proper competition in a way. You excited for it?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Ricky Steamboat. Like I said, I used to be a massive Bros Bud in the old days, of the old days, fucking 10 years ago. It's not that really old, but
Punk.
yeah, back in the olden days, as the hip kids say, I was a big rosebud. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. So I am excited to see a bit more of an edgy Adam Rose and Leo Kruger. But will I
I'm a
be
little
excited when?
worried because honestly, I've never really viewed. I've never really viewed Leo Kruger or Adam Rose as a particularly talented wrestler. So
No.
it may be a sink or swim type scenario. I can't lie. I
Oh,
I'm
but
very cautious because he
the
spent most
problem
of the time
is,
being an entrance rather than a wrestler.
yeah, the entrance really carries it, but also he had a fantastic character as Leo Kruger, so you kind of forget about the wrestling. But as Adam Rose, I understand because what is he? He fucking he dances and the entire crowd goes you know,
Yeah.
oh. So
Well,
yeah,
wrong overlay. But yeah, so I'm interested. I want to see it though. I'm excited to see it. Although we're definitely seeing, Richie Steamboat quite wooden. So Leo Kruger's got a bit more charisma about him, but obviously time will tell how he actually backs it up in the ring. But so far, he just wrestles like a standard
boring.
heel, really. Very boring, very slow, very plodding. Has a submission finisher. Just very bog standard. The main event is the Primetime Players versus the Usos. Now, you love the Primetime Players.
I was throughout the entire show doing Tyler O'Neill's catchphrase, and that's not a lie. I was. Ash was definitely trying to pull the gun and trying to get me off camera. But I fucking prime players, millions of making moves, making $1 million moves. Oh yeah, fantastic. Uh, character wise, they're shit. They're utter shit. Wrestler wise, utter shit. But again, when fucking Titus and Darren Young come out, I was doing that. I was doing all of that. I know that just sounds like I'm sucking a lollipop a bit wrong, but yeah, yeah, I was a big primetime players fan back in the olden days. That's what I'm saying, the olden days, but back 10
I
years
mean, it
ago,
is still
yeah.
10, 15 years ago, so in a
Yeah, it is
sense it
12
is.
years ago.
But, yeah, this match it's okay. It's not, like, I don't know. I feel like, now I'm a lot more soured on the Usos than I would be, say, like 2017. Because of just the horrendous solo runs that they have both had. But
Hey, hey,
it's
hey,
just.
hey, hey,
Hmm?
Big Jim. Big Jim. Don't diss Big fucking Jim.
But fundamentally, I don't know. It's a very WWE tag match at the end of the day. Nothing particularly extravagant. Work the corner, keep them out of keep them in the corner. But Primetime Players win with their pretty sick sidewalk slam, the little backbreaker with a middle rope elbow drop. Pretty sick move. And yeah, they win. They win. That's not really. It's a pretty unceremonious main event. I don't know why
I,
it got the main event spot, to be honest. But
I
then again,
don't
it's
mean
either
to be
that or
mean,
Camacho and Tyson Kidd, so maybe it was the right decision.
I don't mean to be mean, but if you're expecting fucking FTR versus DIY and fucking NXT Takeover, I think you're in the wrong league, buddy. I don't think Tyson O'Neil is Titus, not Tyson. Who the fuck is Tyson O'Neil? Titus O'Neil and Darren Young can do the fucking DIY, and the Usos can do the fucking FTO.
I mean, I wasn't
Okay, maybe
expecting that
later day
much,
Usos.
but yeah,
No,
it
no,
was.
I know, but yeah, fucking. Why didn't they go 50 minutes? Fucking hell, they could have went 50 minutes.
But
Do
yeah,
do the
so
fucking come on,
it's just
do
a
the
very
kick out too.
unceremonious main event. But I do like how they are trying to build out the tag division. That's of
Yeah,
course fairly important, and obviously the tag division does become a pretty big piece of the puzzle, all in all. So I'm glad they're doing that. I'm always excited to see more tag division and women's matches because obviously the men's are in abundance. But yeah, the one thing that's very weird is there is apparently a dark match, which you get the 2012 feud of the year, World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio. Mate, why did they put this match on so much in 2012? I don't get it. Between 2011 and 2012, Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio felt like they feuded for a solid, like, 7 to, like... It feels like it was 11 months long. Like, why the fuck did they love this match so much?
I do want to add that we also get the debut of the Guerrero, the female Guerrero, as a promo package.
Well, technically, it is not. Technically, it's it's not Sophia Cortez. It's Ricardo Diaz. It's Ricardo Diaz. Which, no, it's not the one in GTA Vice City, the mob boss, not that Ricardo Diaz. It is Shaul Guerrero, who was Eddie Guerrero's daughter, who once again also has a fairly tortured wrestling career. Like, she retires in 2014 because I think she was battling an eating disorder, and she's never really come back to wrestling. But hey, her and Aiden English are married, I think, so fair enough. But no, essentially, she's kicking off what the women's division starts off as, with like essentially saying everybody's ugly is her promo. Everyone is ugly. She's great, and fuck you. That's basically it, really. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to see her wrestle. I can't argue. I remember seeing her wrestle at all. So I am excited to see what she's capable of, and I'm interested to see if they actually mention Eddie in any way, shape, or form, because obviously it's Raquel Diaz, it's not Shaul Guerrero. So one of those interesting things where they like having Eddie Guerrero's legacy, but only when it's like, and Sasha's using the frog splash because her favorite wrestler was Eddie Guerrero. It's like, you've got the fucking kid, you've got his kid right there. But we'll see. That's just making up hypotheticals to get upset over. So, yeah. But that's NXT. Why the fuck was Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio main eventing in a dark match? That's my question. And why the fuck did they love putting on this match for so very long? But yeah, that's the July 11th edition of NXT. It's episode number 4. And I think the one thing that's kind of funny is I think this is where... Because I found it and I just decided to watch a couple episodes, and I think this was where I got up to in my rewatch. So from now on, I don't actually have the kind of like foresight of what actually is going on, other than vague memories of what's actually happening. So yeah, excited to go into unclear territory, muddied waters, and I want to see a lot more. So I hope you enjoyed another episode of NXT. Join us in the next one. Bye-bye.